All right. Do you guys see my slides now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I can't see how many people are here, but I'll assume that there are hundreds, if not thousands, listening around the world. So hi, everyone. My name is Jack. I'm going to talk to you about a little project that we worked on at AlmaLinux with the Oracle team. And much thanks to them, actually, for helping make this very successful project. And we call it Elevate. And yes, the L is capital. You'll find out why in a second. So hello there. So we are AlmaLinux. Actually, I am part of the AlmaLinux team. So my name is Jack. That's my contact info in case anyone has any questions. So Elevate. What is Elevate? And who broke the spell check with the capital L? How does it work? And why should you care? We'll answer all these and more. So what is Elevate? So Elevate is a major version migration tool for the whole enterprise Linux ecosystem. And what I mean about that by enterprise Linux ecosystem, for those who are not familiar, those are basically Red Hat Enterprise Linux derivative distributions. So we're talking about your Oracle Linux, your AlmaLinux, your Rocky Linux, your CentOS Stream, and there are others too. Those are really the ones that we kind of focused on. So since the place where we come from is called Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and the ecosystem is called the Enterprise Linux ecosystem, so the EL is capitalized. So now you know why the second letter is capitalized there. But I mean, you know, it's 2022, so everything goes. It was announced on October 21st of last year. It's actually based on a Red Hat project, which is called Leapp. Now, Leapp actually has two pieces to it, which I'll talk about a little bit more further on. But what you need to know is that basically right now that framework supports 7 to 8, and Red Hat made sure that it only works with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And we, of course, wanted to expand that capability and make it work with other stuff. So right now, we also support 7 to 8 because 9 is not out yet fully. It's only out as beta. So we're working on that. But for now, it's just 7 to 8. And we support going from CentOS or Oracle Linux 7 to either AlmaLinux, Oracle Linux, CentOS Stream, or Rocky Linux 8. So basically, if you're on one of the 7s and you just want to bump up to 8, this will do that to you for you. And what goes along with it is an Apache license metadata library. That was actually the part that Oracle worked very heavily on, and it's a very, very big thank you to them. They did the community a huge service by making that available under an open license. And then we added something called the package evolution service, which I'll talk more about too. So why did we do this? Basically, people have been asking for this since time immemorial. You know, I can think back at least 10 years where people have been, if not more, actually, where people have been asking for this, and it just wasn't something that anyone really wanted to tackle over all those years. We also wanted to provide a solution for the community. So there's a lot going on. People have multiple systems running different types of jobs, different workloads, different what have you. And a lot of people, you know, just taking down a whole, you know, farm of servers to do an OS upgrade over however long it takes is just really not something that's feasible for them. You know, they may be able to manage like a few hours of downtime, but to go reinstalling fleets of servers just to bump up to the next major version, it's something that's really, really hard for people to do. And you know, coordinating at multiple levels too, depending on the organization. So we just wanted to make sure that we're providing solutions for the community. We also wanted to uplift the ecosystem and have a project that all the rebuilds can work on together. So this is a great one. When we first started, one of the things that people asked us was, how are you going to work? The Oracle already has their Linux and this other place has theirs. And you guys all, are based off of more or less the same base, so to speak. And so how are you guys going to, like, why do we need all of you? How are you guys going to work together to do good stuff for the community? And this is a prime example of that. We also wanted to some way to enhance an upstream project. So there is that upstream Leapp project, which we're talking to and working with and coordinating with, and we want to make sure that we can get those changes made upstream. We also wanted to prevent another end of life dust up. So when the whole CentOS end of life occurred, I mean, obviously a lot of people took that very strongly. And so I think we wanted to make sure that tools are in place to prevent, as much as we can, something like that from ever, causing as big of a backlash. Because, hey, at the end of the day, like, you do have a tool to upgrade, so it may not be so terrible if something goes end of life. I mean, end of life is never fun for anyone, but we try to kind of smooth that down a little bit. We also wanted to make sure that we provided some path for application vendors, for ISVs, really anyone that's maintaining their own packages that want to make sure that their customers have an upgrade path, which is a very typically highly requested thing. We wanted to make sure that people have that. So we're glad that we were able to do this. Okay, so what does the process look like? So number one, this is not a live migration, so you will have some downtime and you will need to reboot. But that being said, it's a fairly straightforward process. So first of all, be smart, back up or take a snapshot of your system. I think this goes without saying, anytime you're doing anything of this caliber, make sure that you've got yourself covered in case something happens. Also, update your system to the latest set of updates. You want to make sure that you're running pretty much at parity right now before we jump into this. The next thing is you're going to want to download the Elevate release and Elevate data, whatever your distro is, packages from the Elevate repository. And I'll put up links for that at the end so you know where to find all of that. And what that basically does is that activates the Leapp repository within your current running environment, so that it'll be able to pull down packages and pull down the necessary information it needs in order to do the upgrade. Then you're going to want to run Leapp pre-upgrade. So Leapp pre-upgrade is basically like a sanity check on the state of the system to make sure that it can be upgraded and to make sure that you're not going to run into any roadblocks. Now, one thing that we get all the time, and people need to know this, is that there's no support for third-party repositories now. So what you're going to want to do is, if you are running any third-party repositories, number one, make sure you know what you're using from those repositories, because you're going to need to know what you're looking at once that's done, so that you can go ahead and upgrade them, either by re-enabling or by just downloading the latest release package and updating it manually. And then you also want to make sure that the report that it gives you back comes back clean, right? So you're going to run I'm going back to the package repositories. You're going to want to disable any third-party repositories you have. So number one is make sure you know what you're using from those repositories. That's easily done via like DNF, Yum, or RPM. And then disable those repositories just for the upgrade. Then you're going to run the Leapp pre-upgrade, and it's going to give you a report. You're going to want to just run through that report and make sure it comes back clean. It's actually a pretty detailed report, and it'll give you all the information you need right there about anything that's incompatible or anything that has any issues. And then hopefully nothing comes up there, so that this way you can just go ahead and run Leapp upgrade. If something does come up, you may have to fix it. But again, it'll give you guidelines as to what you can do. So you run Leapp upgrade, and then what that's going to do is actually scan the system. It'll create a new init ramfs. So, and that's what the system is going to boot from. So you'll reboot, it'll drop you into this init ramfs, and then you let it work its magic. And then after, depending on how heavily loaded the system is with packages, it could take anywhere from 15 minutes on the short side to a couple of hours on the long side. So make sure you know exactly what's going on there. And then once that's done, it'll reboot again back out of the init ramfs and finish up, and then you can just go in and check your OS release just to make sure that you've been upgraded. So how does that all work? We basically had to take the current Leapp, the current Leapp repository, and we had to merge CentOS PGP fingerprints in there, because right now it only has the Red Hat Enterprise Linux keys in there. So anything that was signed with a different key essentially won't work here. We had to fix the OS version detection to recognize CentOS minor versions. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. It also has a Dracut actor, which we had to fix the CentOS version detection in. Like I said, Leapp code expects minor versions in basically like in whatever the string that the system is reporting back. And again, that's on the next slide. So I'll show you what that looks like and what we had to do there. Also, we had to add CentOS as a valid source for migration, since again, it only supported Red Hat Enterprise. So we had to make sure that, you could go from CentOS, from Oracle, from whatever it is. We had to add those in there. Also, we had to make sure that Red Hat Subscription Manager is disabled by default, because if not, you're going to run into a lot of problems where it's going to try to fetch packages, and it doesn't look good. So I'm not even going to get into that right now. But and the important part here is that also we didn't want to maintain a Leapp fork, right? We want to merge all this stuff upstream. We know that upstream has been very receptive to anything we've sent them, and we want to continue growing this project so that hopefully it works for everyone in the community, and that it serves a wider purpose, and that people can contribute to this and continue building on it. And so we want to make sure that all gets done upstream so that this benefits everyone in the community. So this is kind of a lot of the stuff we had to do. This is really, the screen real estate is limited. So I picked kind of like the smallest example, but this is basically like the Dracut actor. And you see here, like the function is get rel major version release. So it expects the string to be formatted a certain way, the version string. And so we had to make sure that it'll support it will support dot release stuff too. So it's very important, because it basically scans to see what version of the OS you have, and if you're not on the right version, it just won't work. We had to do lots of this type of stuff all over the place to get it to detect things other than Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So what config files does this use? So you pull down the repository, you install the package. So what does it include? So first of all, it includes this Leapp upgrade repositories.repo, which is basically a file with the repositories of the target OS that you're going to go to. There's a pes-events.json file, and I'm going to talk a little bit about package evolution service in a second. That's very, very important, and a lot of that initial metadata was contributed by Oracle. Thanks again, Oracle, for that. Repomap.csv, which is basically maps the source repository to the target OS repository. Another file with unsupported driver names. So of course, you're upgrading between major versions. There is going to be some stuff that was deprecated. We need to know what those are to let you know, because you need to know that those won't work in your new target OS. And then again, unsupported PCI IDs. Again, this is stuff that was, most likely dropped from the Linux kernel, or from whatever the target OS kernel is, for whatever reason. So again, we would just want to make sure that, hey, you're going to go through this process, and it'll spit out a warning to you, letting you know that, hey, the following stuff will probably not work in the new target OS. Okay, so pes-events.json. Packages evolve between different releases. So what that means is there are a few different primitives that a package can undergo from one release to another, right? So a package can be present, a package could have been removed, a package could have been deprecated, a package could have been replaced, it could have been split. There are some examples with Python libraries there. A package could have been merged, it could have been moved, it could have been renamed. So there are a few different types of functions that packages undergo between different releases. And what this essentially does is this is sort of like doing a DNF upgrade, but a lot smarter, right? So it's not just, hey, I have this package version and new package version is available, but hey, I have this package, but it was now renamed and was actually split into two different packages, and I need to know now what to do with either of those two. So this is the metadata. This is the basically the brain the operation, and it's really, really important, and it's really good to have, and it's also something that community can contribute to. And that's why we created the package evolution service, which is, I believe, my next slide. But one thing to note was, again, Red Hat provided this metadata only for RHEL and only under a non-free license and under subscription. So again, we want to thank, Oracle and everybody else that contributed package data there to make this happen. So the package evolution service. Pokemon not included. Sorry, folks. All right. So what is the package evolution service? First of all, it lives at pes.almalinux.org. We launched it to create and maintain package evolution data under permissive license, which is its Apache 2.0 license. It allows anyone to view, create, edit, upload package data relating. Of course, you need to have permission to touch that package, but you can submit stuff and it can get approved. And then hopefully if anyone does that and becomes a maintainer, then you would have, it's very similar to how Fedora does the, packaging permission stuff. More importantly, it allows anyone to create your own data set for packages. So you can, let's say, you're the maintainer of a certain piece of software which you install at your customers, and now you want to help your customers upgrade from let's say Oracle Linux 7 to Oracle Linux 8. You can come in and you can create and input your own basically package evolution data, and then now that you have that there, when you spit out that file, that file that you can provide to your customers, or hopefully have it be part of the wider distribution, now has all that information to go ahead and do that update. So that's really, really awesome for vendors, because a vendor knows their packages best, and they can now dictate how the thing transforms between one release to another. And again, in case I didn't mention, all the initial data was provided by Oracle there. So thank you guys again. This is what the site looks like. It's very cursory. It's very elementary. Again, this is only a few months old, and we're hoping to keep this, very active as time goes on. You could do a bulk upload of events. You could also dump the current event file. You can add actions. You can list actions. And you can also take a look at the actions history, which basically lets you see what other people have been working on recently. So this is how you would dump the file. So you would say, I'm going from CentOS to AlmaLinux, and we have permissions built in by GitHub organization too. So let's say you maintain a certain package under a certain organization. If you have permissions to that organization and that specific package or that tree or whatever it is, then you automatically have permissions here. And then you go ahead and dump the file. I didn't put, I probably should add that at some point, but what a sample file looks like. But anyway, I'm just going to run through a little bit of a pre-recorded demo. Now, it is pre-recorded because, again, you have no idea until you run this on the system how long it'll take. We've done it in VMs that were like completely new installs of 7.x, and it took close to like 20 minutes. But that was, again, with a very like minimal install. I'm sure if you have more stuff, it'll take longer. So I guess everyone sit back and just enjoy the demo for the next couple of minutes.
Hello everyone, my name is Sophia. In this video, I'm going to show you how to migrate from CentOS 7 to AlmaLinux 8 using the Leapp 2 and data from the Elevate project. First of all, let's install Leapp upgrade and Leapp data in Linux packages. Leapp data packages define what system the migration is to. Besides AlmaLinux, you can migrate to CentOS 2.8, Oracle Linux, and Rocky Linux.
So here we see it pulling down the repository.
The next step is to check if the current system is prepared for migration. You need to launch Leapp upgrade for this. It will check that you have the latest CentOS version, there is no unsupported hardware or software, and system settings are compatible with the next major operation system release. If CentOS doesn't match some requirements by default, you can use the migration guide that contains the most popular issues you may have during this step. When Leapp upgrade shows that the system is ready to proceed with migration, you can use the next step, which is Leapp upgrade. All the packages needed for migration are downloaded during this step.
So now it's creating the new init ramfs with the new environment.
You can see that a special operation system image is created. It will be used for migration.
And it
Now,
also outputs everything in a report too.
There will be a new option in the bootloader after boot. Elevate upgrade to new AlmaFS. It will be automatically booted. You can see packages and configuration updates running.
So there you saw it
Now
upgraded.
the system automatically restarts to perform Linux relabeling. After this process is completed, the system will restart one more time. So the new system just booted. Let's make sure that it is on AlmaLinux 8. That's all for now. Thank you for your attention.
Awesome. So that was the demo.
Hello.
And no, I do not want it to play again. And that was just mind-blowing, wasn't it? So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the current issues and the future and what we planning to do. So first problem is Leapp was developed to upgrade RHEL only, and wasn't really designed to support external repos, like I mentioned before. So a couple of the possible solutions are we want to allow adding external repos key fingerprints as valid configuration files. Right now, like everything is very much hard coded for RHEL. So things need to become basically more split up, more modularized, and basically more extensible in a way that will let us support more than what's there now in a very easy way. We want to implement something like drop-in config directories for the target OS repos and PS events. We also want to thinking about doing something like implementing detection of popular external repos like Apple, because we know that a lot of people use Apple. We know that a lot of people use Oracle's Apple as well. And we know that there are just so many third-party repositories out there. We'd like to be able to support them all eventually. So the only way to do that is basically splitting it up in that way where you can define, target OS, in some like configuration directory, a config file, and have something in there where you can put in something for repos as well. So it's basically kind of like, it's not a fundamental re-architecture of how it works, but it's a pretty big redesign of just how the base OS detection and repository detection works. Right now, also Leapp doesn't support CentOS natively. We started talking to the developers upstream via GitHub issues. We also submitted support requests there. Basically this requires upstream buy-in. So what I would say is if anyone's interested, please get on the GitHub and get on the GitHub issue and make sure that, +1, just make sure that people know that this is something that people are interested in. Of course, the voice of the users and the community goes a very long way. Also, what we want to do is we want to add support for additional versions. So we definitely want to support 8 to 9. But then again, there are a lot of people that are also running like a 6X. And we know that's true, and especially in the Oracle community. I think that there are a few people, or a few large organizations running 6X. So we want to make sure that they have an upgrade path as well. More metadata. So we have a base metadata set, but I see someone asked in the questions, how can we contribute to this project if we wish? I think this is the easiest way to contribute to the project, is basically sign into the package evolution system and take a look at whatever your favorite package is. I don't know, it could be, I don't know, Vim, it could be whatever, and just take a look at the data that's there and compare that to like between the two versions and just make sure that that metadata is correct there. I mean, it's something that would take, maybe 20 minutes of someone's time. if they were like, a little bit familiar with how that all works with spec files and stuff like that. But even if not, it's really pretty easy to learn. And it's something that's hard to do when you have like a few core people focused on it, but it's very easy to do at scale when you have a lot of people that are trying to pitch in and help. And again, support for other repositories, especially EPEL. I think that's, the most popular one, certainly. And we want to make sure that it's treated as a first-class citizen. So some resources. First of all, almalinux.org/elevate is like our site for getting information about everything. We also have under our GitHub org Leapp repository repo, and that has a lot of stuff there. It has the actual Leapp tools. I think we link in the README there to the metadata stuff too. But anyway, you could do that through like the package evolution service. We also have pages on our wiki and a great contribution guide there. If anyone wants to take a look at it, go ahead and definitely open that up and take a look there. We also have a special interest group around this, and that comes with a chat channel, wiki page, and the chat channel as well. So if you want to get involved, take a look at those, join us on the chat. And you'll find the chat, very welcoming, even to beginners. We try to make it a very welcoming and very comfortable space for everyone at all levels. And, certainly around this, we have a lot of people that are coming in as total newbies, and we have a few people that are coming in as seasoned experts. So, don't be afraid to show up, ask questions, make friends. I mean, that's what this is all about at the end of the day. And hopefully we can help you. And certainly if you'd like to contribute, you can definitely find a mentor there to help you. So that's it. I knew you dig it. I'm Jack. Thanks again. I can open it up to any questions. And again, we have just a general email for the project, hello@almalinux.org. If anyone has questions, we have our chat, we have forums, we have Reddit, we have Twitter. You can basically find us anywhere. So thank you for listening to me for the last 35 minutes or so. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to take them. And if not, I hope everyone's enjoying Pi Day as much as I am. A lot of really, really great talks. And, thanks for everyone, certainly Bo and team that helped coordinate this. Yeah, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the talks. It's really been phenomenal, and we're glad to be part of this. Thank you. Thanks, Jens. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Greetings from New York.
Hey, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A or chat, or I did send a link to our Slack channel in case you want to hang out with us afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be on there, and I believe I already am on there. And if anyone has any questions, let me know.